This is KI0AR. Does anyone need to use the repeater systems before I begin this evening's Colorado Astronomy Net? Please go ahead now. Calling the Colorado Astronomy Net, calling the Colorado Astronomy Net. This is KI0AR. My name is Bernice, and I'll be your net control for this evening's Colorado Astronomy Net. Just a reminder, the 3-minute timeout function is still in effect, so during long transmissions, please allow the repeater systems to reset themselves. Also, please use the word break for emergency or priority traffic. If there is any emergency or priority traffic, please go ahead now. Okay, nothing heard. This is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. This net meets every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 0100 Zulu on Wednesdays to discuss topics of an astronomical nature, what's up in the night skies for the week, any other special events that may be of interest to the amateur radio astronomy enthusiasts around the world. Also, this is one of the few nets where your check-in does count. I tally up the numbers and send them up to JPL at the end of each month. Counts as part of their outreach to the general public, of which we are a part. So all check-ins are definitely appreciated. I take check-ins several ways. If you have NetLogger, I will get you logged in via the AIM window. I'll see you pop on there and get you logged in to NetLogger. I am also on YouTube this evening, so if you have YouTube, you can hop on there. I've already gotten a check-in over there as well, so and I will take them over the air, of course. And if you are out there listening and you don't have YouTube or NetLogger or something else, you can send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and request to be put on the list. Or you may visit the website at www. Let's see. Wait. Wrong message there. Yeah, you can send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and just let me know you're out there listening. And if you have if you have a call sign, include that in your email. Include that over on YouTube as well if you have a call sign and you're listening via YouTube tonight. I'll get you on the list. Otherwise, a name and a general location will be fine as well. I'll get you on the list that way as well. I switched over to analog this evening. I did not see myself transmitting over on the Wires X side, so I don't know if I'm getting out. They've had some issues, and I just want to make sure that everybody is in there listening. All right. Right now, I'll go ahead and acknowledge the few check-ins I already have over on NetLogger. We got Moy, N5ZIQ, thanks for checking in tonight. Ken, NV7SS, thanks for checking in tonight. Rip, K3XO, thanks for checking in tonight. Dave, AF0AS, thanks for checking in tonight. And Michael, Mike, KO5AOK, thanks for checking in tonight. I'll go ahead and begin taking check-ins over the air. Anyone wishing to check in to tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice. And good evening to you, Ed, W6RDZ. Thanks for checking in tonight. Quick question for you, Ed. Will you be able to give the rocket report this evening? Go ahead. All right, Ed, no worries. No worries. I'll definitely give it tonight. And we've got Dave on the has checked in as well, so he'll be the backup for any other news that might come along. So appreciate you doing the rocket report, and I'll take it tonight. No worries. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice. Okay, we got David, WE8M, checking in via NetLogger, so thanks for that. Graham, good morning to you. MM1DEA, thanks for checking in tonight. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get the net started for this evening. I'll take check-ins a little bit later on. But of course, if you have YouTube, you can check in that way right away. I'll get you on the list. I'll see it pop up. And of course, NetLogger, if I see your call sign pop up over there, I'll check you in that way. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'll get into the announcements. I publish a monthly astronomy newsletter via email and the World Wide Web. If you wish to subscribe to the email version of my newsletter, please send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and request to be put on the list. Or you may visit the website at www.ki0ar.com/astro.html. And at the top of the web page is also a spot where you may submit your email address and get subscribed to the email version of the newsletter as well. If you don't want to remember all that, just Google my call sign, KI0AR. You'll find a whole bunch of links, including links to the web page and the newsletter. I also volunteer with a youth group called the International Association for Astronomical Studies, a youth group that meets out at Strasburg, Colorado on Friday evenings from 6 until 8 p.m. Always looking for new members, freshmen through senior high school age students interested in astronomy, amateur radio, high power rocketry, remote control aircraft flying, full scale aircraft construction, archaeoastronomy, radio astronomy, and balloon launch communications. More than welcome to visit the website at www.iaas.org, or you may visit us on Facebook as well. The International Association for Astronomical Studies is on Facebook. Also, a reminder that the Colorado Astronomy Net is also on Facebook. So if you have Facebook, be sure to hop on there and like us both. Also, the IAAS has their own club call sign. That's Kilo Zero Alpha Alpha Sierra, K0AAS. We usually monitor that during our meetings on Friday evenings. And if you happen to be in the Denver area or on Skyhub link and hear that call, be sure to give us a shout. Also, if you're interested in flight simulations, you may want to check out Jack's YouTube channel. That's Jack, KE0VH, his channel. He does flight simming on Mondays and Wednesdays. He's been rather busy this summer, so it's going to be a little harder to catch him on those nights, even if he, just because he hasn't been there for a while. But he's check out his YouTube channel, Captain Jack Flight Sim, CapnJackFLTSIM. You can check out some of his previous flights as well. A whole bunch of people check into that. Flight simmers as well as other amateur radio operators as well, and people that are just interested in flying along with Jack. So check that out. That's all I have for announcements. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Not seeing any more check-ins over on NetLogger or YouTube this evening, so I'll just go ahead and get into the local astronomical news after I let the repeater reset. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'll start off as usual with the phases of the moon. Let's see, we had a full moon back on the 7th. We had a last quarter moon on the 14th. We've got a new moon coming up on the 21st, and we've got a first quarter moon coming up on the 29th. And just an early report. I've been watching the moon in the early morning hours, actually after sunrise. You see the moon over towards the west. It's been clear in some spots, and it's kind of neat to see the moon during daytime hours. So if you do get a chance to see that, always interesting to watch out for the moon. Actually, we've got a quick bulletin on the moon later on. We're going to talk a little bit about the moon and the sun this evening for the bulletins. The moon was at perigee, its closest approach to the Earth this month, back on the 10th. It was 226,662 miles from Earth. The moon will be at apogee, its farthest point away from the Earth this month, on the 26th. It will be 251,996 miles from Earth. Planetary highlights for September. September's sky is rich with opportunities. Titan's shadow continues to transit Saturn. The ringed planet reaches opposition along with Neptune, with both worlds in the same region of the sky. Mars is descending toward solar conjunction. Uranus is a fine binocular target, while Jupiter dominates the early morning. Venus starts the month near M44, then inches closer to a conjunction with Regulus and the crescent moon. This excerpt is from Astronomy Magazine, September 2025, page 28. All right, on with the planets. Mercury. Mercury was at superior conjunction back on the 13th, meaning that it was on the opposite side of the sun than we are. So it's on the back side of the sun on that day. So after conjunction, Mercury has returned to the evening sky, setting about, right now it's setting about 7:18 p.m. Just a sec, I need to pull up some other information here. And that is actually very, very close to a sunset, so it'll be very, very difficult to spot Mercury until, yep, let's see. Yeah, Mercury is setting about, about 12 minutes after the sun, so it's going to be very, very difficult to spot. It's way too close to the sun right now to spot for another week, a week and a half at least, maybe 2 weeks. Mercury is visible about 30 minutes after sunset during the last week of the month. Mercury moves from the constellation of Leo into Virgo, shining at magnitude minus 1.3 on the 1st. We got Venus. Venus is rising about 4:20 a.m. of this week. Look for Venus to the east-southeast about an hour or so before sunrise. Venus moves from the constellation of Cancer into Leo, shining at magnitude minus 3.9 on the 15th. Okay, again, a quick tutorial on magnitudes. The greater the magnitude, the dimmer the object by a factor of about 2.5. The dimmest object that the human eye can see is about 6. So any magnitudes greater than 6, you will not be able to see with the naked eye. Any magnitudes less than 6, you should be able to see with your eyeball under optimum conditions. But the best I can do here in the Denver area is about 4th magnitude. Anything greater than that, I definitely need a telescope or binoculars for that. There's just too much city light reflecting. Too many city lights, street lights, house lights, things like that, that just ruin my nighttime viewing. So that just means I'm jealous of all of you guys that live out in the country and can see the night sky without city lights obstructing your view. The autumnal equinox occurs in a week at 2:19 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the 22nd. So I'll look for that next Monday, the autumnal equinox, the beginning of autumn for the northern hemisphere, and springtime in the southern hemisphere. Actually, spring has already started officially down south of the equator. It started on the 1st of September. That's how they work their seasons, by the 1st of the particular months of equinoxes and solstices. at least in Australia and New Zealand anyway. At least we found out from our brethren down south. Continuing on, we got Mars. We got Mars rising about 9:20 p.m. This week. Look for Mars low to the west in the evening. Oh, excuse me. Scratch that. That it's 9:20 a.m. It's rising. Sorry about that. It is setting about 8:20 p.m. in the evening. So look for Mars very low to the west, about 30 minutes after sunset. Mars is in the constellation of Virgo, shining at magnitude 1.6. We got Jupiter. Jupiter is rising about 1:25 a.m. this week. Look for Jupiter to the south in the early morning hours before dawn. So you'll have to give it several hours before you can actually see Jupiter fairly high. 2:30, 3 a.m. Look towards the southeast. A little bit later than that. I'll look towards the south. Jupiter is in the constellation of Gemini, shining at magnitude -2.0. And we got Saturn will be at opposition on the 21st, that's this weekend, rising as the sun sets. Saturn is now rising about 7:20 p.m. in the evening. Look for Saturn low to the east in the late evening. Saturn is at its best viewing for the year. Saturn is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 0.6. And let's see, for you early risers, you may want to get up very, very early on September 20th around 2:30 a.m. and Eastern Daylight Time. And then, so that's a little after midnight here in Colorado. And take a look at Saturn. You may be able to see Titan's shadow transiting the planet, and you may be able to see a very, very thin, almost edge-on ring system of Saturn. So that's very early on the morning of the 20th. Let's see, Saturn is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 0.6. And then we got Uranus. Uranus, let's see, is now rising about 10 p.m. This week. I'll look for Uranus to the southeast in the very late evening, around midnight. Uranus is in the constellation of Taurus, shining at magnitude 5.7. So look towards the southeast. And, you know, some of these planets are in the late evening, so plan on taking a look, except for Mars, of course. You'll definitely have to catch that soon after sunset. We got Neptune at opposition as well on the 23rd, rising as the sun sets. So Neptune is rising about 7:20 p.m. this week. Look for Neptune low to the east late in the evening, within about 1 degree of Saturn all month. Neptune is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 7.7. So that's a solid 7 magnitudes dimmer than Saturn. So take a look at that comparison. Within 1 degree is about 2 full moon widths. And you'd be looking, kind of, let's see, yeah, kind of towards the, it's almost at the 9 o'clock position of Saturn soon after it rises. So if you're looking at Saturn, definitely try to see if you can spot Neptune. You just have to move slightly to your left to see Neptune. Yeah, in a telescope, you should be able to see some banding with Saturn. Maybe able to see its rings, and like I said, the transit of Titan coming up as well. Neptune is going to look like a bluish or a blue dot with a little bit of hint of green in it. So kind of a greenish blue dot just to the left of Saturn. But you'll see a discernible disk as opposed to a pinpoint when you look at stars. So definitely get your binoculars or telescope out and see if you can spot those two planets. Luckily, they're fairly early in the evening. You don't have to stay up too late to spot them. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Continuing. Oh, let's see. Continuing on with dwarf planets. Ceres is rising. Ceres is rising about 9 o'clock in the evening. This week, Ceres can be spotted low to the south near midnight when it is highest in the sky. Ceres is in a constellation of Cetus, shining at magnitude 7.8. Then we got Pluto rising in the late afternoon, just a little bit before 5 p.m. The best time to spot Pluto will be in the late evening when it is also highest in the sky to the south, and that will definitely be around midnight. Pluto is in the constellation of Capricornus, shining at magnitude 15.2. Probably maybe about between 11 and midnight for Pluto, but you'll definitely need some dark skies and a large telescope to spot Neptune, Ceres, and Pluto. Meteor showers. No major meteor showers are active in September, so we enter a bit of a lull after the excitement of August. Meteoric dust from thousands of comets passing over the eons is visible before dawn as the zodiacal light, as sunlight reflecting off the dust creates a faint glow. You'll need a very dark eastern horizon with no streetlights nearby. Higher elevations get a better view too. The zodiacal light appears as a faint cone-shaped glow aligned with the ecliptic. On September mornings, well before dawn, the high angle of the ecliptic benefits views of it. The broad base of the glow is in Leo as that constellation rises and narrows higher in the sky through Cancer and Gemini. Catch it on moonless nights in the 3rd and 4th week of September for the darkest skies. This excerpt is from Astronomy Magazine, September 2025, page 29. So definitely look for it after the new moon, after the 21st, or you may be able to catch a very thin sliver before that. So this weekend you may want to start looking for that zodiacal light in the early AM hours. We do have a comet, Comet C 2024 E1, Wirchos, is passing through the constellation of Corona Borealis high to the west in the evening. Mid-month will be the easiest time to this month to spot the comet shining around 12th to 10th magnitude, an 8-inch scope or greater, and dark skies will be needed to view it. So get out those big scopes and see if you can find that little comet. We got a partial solar eclipse coming up on the 21st. This eclipse is visible from New Zealand. plus a thin strip of Australia's eastern coast, various Pacific islands, and parts of Antarctica. So if you're traveling south, you may want to check that out. You'll have to travel way south. We did have the longest lunar eclipse occurred since 2022. We had that back on the 7th, and if you got to see that images on the internet, that was on the opposite side of the world than the States for sure. That is it for the local astronomical news. This is KI0AR, Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Oh, we did have Tony over on YouTube posed a question. New here. What days this week are best for stargazing in general? Tony, any day that is clear, smokeless, cloudless, anytime that you want to look. We went over some of the stuff. Look for Mars towards the west in the evening, very soon after sunset. Wait a couple more hours to spot Saturn and Neptune towards the east. Yeah, you won't be able to see Ceres or Pluto without right now. The skies are just, well, they're probably too bright. And if you don't have a large scope, I'm talking at least a 12-inch diameter or greater for Pluto for sure. You might catch Ceres, it may be a little trickier, but you may want to check out, there is a link on the YouTube site for my astronomy newsletter. Check that out. www.ki0ar.com/astro.html. If you check out the website, it'll give you where the planets are for sure. Any cloudless night, take a look. And with the moon rising in the late, or I should say early morning hours, you do have some dark sky evenings, so check that out. That is it for the local astronomical news. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. KJ5, JOD, this is KI0AR, Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I am currently running the Colorado Astronomy Net tonight. We run from 7 p.m. Till around 9 p.m. or maybe a little longer. On Tuesday evenings, you're welcome to join us there. Just type your name in there, Ian, and if you'd like to check in, just let me know, and I think I'll get you on the list for this evening. All right, Ian, welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. Yeah, check out, we're on the SkyHub link system, skyhublink.com, Tuesday nights at 7. I'll give you a little bit of a history on that real quick. Again, my name is Bernus. That's Bravo, Uniform, Romeo, November, Echo, Sierra, Sierra, and the call sign Kilowatt India 0 Alpha Romeo. Been doing the Astronomy Net for Almost 30 years. Been on Skyhub Link for almost 3. It is a global net. We have all all levels of experience checking into the net as well. You caught it at the right time. I just finished the local astronomical news, what's up in the night skies for the week. Got some bulletins. I got a rocket report. If you're interested in rocket launches from around the world, we got that. And then after that, I like to go down the list and talk with everybody. It's basically a question and answer period, as well as observation reports. I love to hear observation reports from everybody, what they're looking at the night skies, or daytime skies for that matter. We have some astrophotographers here that take pictures of deep sky objects, some solar photographers as well, other people that just like looking at the stars, and some people just wondering what they are looking at. Ian, again, welcome, and we did get a little bit from you just now, so please stick around. We're going to be here for a while. Again, welcome to the net. Appreciate you checking in tonight. All right, Ian. Yeah, you said you were checking in through your phone, so that's cool. That's great. Also on YouTube, you can check out some of the past YouTube programs as well. I'm active, right? We're live on YouTube now as well. So if you happen to have that, you can listen in that way. And if you've got any questions, you can post them there. And also, we are also on NetLogger, so if you have NetLogger, you can check in via that way. Hopefully, you'll check in the future as well. If you have to depart, I certainly understand. We do run long over here, but do appreciate you checking in tonight for sure. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Anyone else wishing to check in to tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice. Okay, quiet night. This may go a little quicker tonight for sure. No worries. All right, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Get into the bulletins for this evening. Yeah, okay, Tony, yeah, if you're looking with binoculars, definitely get out there and just scan the skies. One thing that I have found interesting, Tony, while looking through binoculars into the night sky, just kind of point them just a little bit above the horizon. If you've got clear skies, and look through the binoculars and then count how many satellites will pass through your field of vision over the space of 10 minutes. You will be surprised at the number of satellites that go through your field of view, even at a low angle. And then just moving around, look at the skies and the stars, and just pointed up there. Tremendous number of satellites. It used to be, when I started in astronomy, seeing a satellite was a very rare occurrence in the night sky, especially one that would pass through your field of view, either through a telescope or binoculars. Now it's just, well, I'll reserve some of my opinion for that, but I'd kind of say horrible. Just seeing so many satellites up there. It's kind of neat, but it's horrible and the same for those of us who are observational astronomers. Now I'll hop off my soapbox and get into ISS passes. If you're interested in ISS passes, you may want to check out this website, www.heavens-above.com. That's www.heavens-above.com. I've got that posted up on YouTube right now. The one thing that I like about this particular website is you can put in your home coordinates. If you look in the upper right hand corner, you'll see that I'm logged in. You can put in my home coordinates for the Denver area, and it'll give me times for ISS passes. And I'm actually not seeing too many decent ISS passes until well into next week. The one thing I like about this website is if I click on a particular pass, I get a nice 8.5 by, wow, okay, I'm not getting anything there. Let me see, pull that up. There we go, that's better. We've got a very low pass on this one. It's just skimming the northern horizon here over Denver, and it is early in the evening. Like you see where it starts at 8:28 and goes to about 8:34. It's actually not a bad pass, but it's very, very low in the northern horizon. So you definitely have to have some clear skies and a flat horizon towards the north, neither of which I have in that direction. But you may, like I said, put in your home coordinate, log in and put in your home coordinates, then you can click on a particular pass and check that out. Again, that website is www.heavens-above.com, and it has a whole lot more than just ISS passes. It's got the Chinese, North Korean satellites, the Hubble, the environmental Starlink passes for all objects from a launch. Those are always neat to see if you have some of those Starlink trains go over. You can check that out and got a lot more information. Again, heavens-above.com. And that's it for that bulletin. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I got a couple of quick bulletins from, let's see, NASA, science.nasa.gov. Weird ways to observe the moon. This is dated September 15th. International Observe the Moon Night is on October 4th, 2025, this year. But you can observe the moon whenever it's up, day or night. While binoculars and telescopes certainly reveal incredible details of our neighbor's surface, bringing out dark seas, bright craters, and numerous odd fissures and cracks, these tools are not the only way to observe details about our moon. There are more ways to observe the moon than you might expect. just using common household materials. Put on a pair of sunglasses, especially polarized sunglasses. You may think this is a joke, but the point of polarized sunglasses is to dramatically reduce glare. And so they allow your eyes to pick out some lunar details. Surprisingly, wearing sunglasses even helps during daytime observations of the moon. One unlikely tool is the humble plastic bottle cap. John Goss from the Roanoke Valley Astronomical Society shared these directions on how to make your own bottle cap lunar viewer, which was suggested to him by Fred Schaff many years ago as a way to also view the thin crescent of Venus when close to the sun. The full moon is very bright, so much that details are The full moon is very bright, so much of the details are overwhelmed by the glare. Here is an easy way to see more. Start by drilling a 1/16 inch or 1.5 millimeter diameter hole in a plastic soft drink bottle cap. Make sure it is an unobstructed round hole. Now look through the hole at the bright moon. The image brightness will be much dimmer than normal, about 90% dimmer, reducing or eliminating any lunar glare. The image should also be much sharper because the bottle cap blocks light from entering the outer portion of your pupil, while imperfections of the eye's curving optical path likely lie. Many report seeing a startling amount of lunar detail. You can project the moon. Have you heard of a sun funnel? This is a way to safely view the sun by projecting the image from an eyepiece to fabric stretched across a funnel mounted on top. It's easy to make at home too. Directions are here at bit.li/sunfunnel. That's all one word. Depending on your equipment, a sun funnel can view the moon as well as the sun. A full moon gives off more than enough light to project from even relatively small telescopes. Large telescopes will project the full moon and its phases with varying levels of detail, while not as crisp as direct eyepiece viewing. It's still an impressive sight. You can also mount your smartphone or tablet to your eyepiece for a similar moon viewing experience, but the funnel doesn't need batteries. Of course, you can join folks in person or online to celebrate our moon on October 4th, 2025 with International Observe the Moon Night. Find details at moon.nasa.gov/observe. And that's it for that bulletin. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. All right, the next is on the sun, also from Jet Propulsion Laboratory dated September 15th. NASA analysis shows sun's activity ramping up. It looked like the sun was heading toward a historic lull in activity. That trend flipped in 2008, according to new research. The sun has become increasingly active since 2008, a new study. NASA study shows Solar activity is known to fluctuate in cycles of 11 years, but there are longer-term variations that it can last decades. Case in point, since the 1980s, the amount of solar activity has been steadily decreasing all the way up to 2008, when solar activity was the weakest on record. At that point, scientists expected the sun to be entering a period of historically low activity. But then the sun reversed course and started to become increasingly active, as documented in the study, which appears in the Astrophysical Journal letters. Its trend that researchers said could lead to an uptick in space weather events such as solar storms, flares, and coronal mass ejections. All signs were pointing to the sun going into a prolonged phase of low activity, said Jamie Jasinski of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California, lead author of the new study. But it was a surprise to see that trend reversed. The sun is slowly waking up. The earliest recorded tracking of solar activity began in the early 1600s when astronomers, including Galileo, counted sunspots and documented their changes. Sunspots are cooler, darker regions on the sun's surface that are produced by a concentration of magnetic field lines. Areas with sunspots are often associated with higher solar activity, such as solar flares, which are intense bursts of radiation, and coronal mass ejections, which are huge bubbles of plasma that erupt from the sun's surface and streak across the solar system. NASA scientists track these space weather events because they can affect spacecraft, astronauts' safety, radio communications, GPS, and even power grids on Earth. Space weather predictions are critical for supporting the spacecraft and astronauts of NASA's Artemis campaign, as understanding the space environment is a vital part of mitigating astronaut exposure to space radiation. Launching no earlier than September 23rd, NASA's IMAP, or Interstellar Mapping and Acceleration Probe, and Carruthers Geocorona Observatory missions, as well as the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's SWFO-L1, or Space Weather Follow-on Lagrange 1 mission, will provide new space weather research and observations that will help to drive future efforts at the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Solar activity affects the magnetic fields of planets throughout the solar system as the solar wind, a stream of charged particles flowing from the sun, and other solar activity increase. The sun's influence expands and compresses magnetospheres, which serve as protective bubbles of planets with magnetic cores and magnetic fields, including Earth. These protective bubbles are important for shielding planets from the jets of plasma that stream out from the sun in the solar wind. Over the centuries that people have been studying solar activity, the quietest times were the 3-decade stretch from 1645 to 1715 and a 4-decade stretch from 1790 to 1830. We don't really know why the sun went through a 40-year minimum starting in 1790, Jasinski said. The longer-term trends are a lot less predictable and are something we don't completely understand yet. In the 2.5 decades leading up to 2008, sunspots and the solar wind decreased as much as researchers expected the deep solar minimum of 2008 to mark the start of a new historic low activity time in the sun's recent history. But then the trend of declining solar wind ended. And since then, plasma and magnetic field parameters have steadily been increasing, said Jasinski, who led the analysis of heliospheric data publicly available in the platform called OmniWeb Plus, run by NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. The data Jasinski and colleagues mined for the study came from a broad collection of NASA missions, two primary sources: ACE, the Advanced Composition Explorer, and the WIND mission, launched in the 1990s and have been providing data on solar activity like plasma and energetic particles flowing from the sun toward Earth. The spacecraft belong to a fleet of NASA Heliophysics Division missions designed to study the sun's influence on space, Earth, and other planets. And that's it for that bulletin. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. All right, we got Mary over on YouTube. So hi, Mary. Thanks for checking in tonight. Graham, we'll hear from you next time. And we got David, N3NTV. We got you checked in as well. I think that may be a new call. So David, oh, you've checked in before. I got you on my list. All right, that's cool. Thanks for that. So welcome, YouTubers. Oh, and let's see, I'm not seeing anybody else over on NetLoggers as well. And welcome to everybody else. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I think, Mary, you've checked in before over there on YouTube as well, so thanks for that. I'm going to go ahead and find, there it is, the rocket report. I'm going to let this thing reset and then get into the rocket report for this evening in just a sec. All right, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Let's see, the rocket report. The Rocket Man Ed W6RDZ's rocket report for 9/16/2025. This rocket report covers the period of September 9th through the 23rd. Yeah, and anybody on YouTube that does have a call sign, I do appreciate you posting that, so I can definitely get you plugged into a NetLogger here. And if you don't over there, you may consider getting one and join us on audio as well. So I do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody checking in tonight. Continuing on, last week's launches, we saw a total of 7 orbital launches. This past week, 5 SpaceX. Okay, yeah, Ed's math is a little off. He's got 5 SpaceX and 5 Russian. I think that adds up to 10. So we'll see what that is goes. We'll keep a track here. Nevertheless, here we go. On Wednesday, September 10th, SpaceX successfully launched the Tranche 1 Transport Layer B mission for the U.S. Space Force. A Falcon 9 lifted off from SLC-4E, Vandenberg Space Force Base, California at 08:12 Mountain Daylight Time. This was one of 6 missions by the United States Space Force for the Proliferated Warfighter Space Architecture, or PWSA, which will will provide assured, resilient, low latency military data and connectivity worldwide from low Earth orbit, or LEO. The launch carried 21 satellites manufactured by York Space Systems into a polar orbit. Thursday, September 11th at 09:54 Mountain Daylight Time, Roscosmos successfully launched the Progress MS-23 resupply mission on a Soyuz 2.1 rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan to the International Space Station. The Progress cargo capsule delivered 7,208 kilograms of food, water, and science experiments to the ISS. This was the 185th flight of a Progress. The Progress mission was the first of 2 resupply missions to launch to the ISS this week. Thursday, September 11th at 07:59, SpaceX tried for the 4th time and successfully launched the Nusantara Lima mission on a Falcon 9 from SLC-40 Cape Canaveral. Early in the week, the mission scrubbed twice for weather and once for a technical issue. Nusantara Lima is an Indonesian high-throughput telecommunications satellite to operate in geostationary orbit. It is the heaviest geostationary satellite ever launched by a Falcon 9 at just under 8 metric tons. It was booster B1078's 23rd flight. Friday, September 12th at 2010 Mountain Daylight Time, Russia launched the GLONASS K1 N-18L mission, the Cosmos 2595 and 2596, on a Soyuz 2.1B frigate M1 VKS-RF rocket from the Plesetsk Cosmodrome, Russia. GLONASS K is the latest satellite design intended as part of the Russian GLONASS radio-based satellite navigation system orbiting in medium Earth orbit. Saturday, September 13th, we returned to SpaceX launches at 10:55 Mountain Daylight Time. SpaceX launched Starlink Group 17-10 from Vandenberg Space Force Base. Booster B1071 successfully took the upper stage with 28 satellites to a polar sun-synchronous orbit on its 28th flight. Sunday, September 14th at 16:11 Mountain Daylight Time, SpaceX launched the second cargo resupply mission flight to the ISS this week. The CRS NG-23 mission launched atop of Falcon 9 from SLC-40 Cape Canaveral. The Cygnus NG-23, or Northrop Grumman 23, is the first flight of the new Northrop Grumman Cygnus XL cargo capsule. The new Cygnus XL is a stretched version of the previous model, allowing for more volume and up to 1,300 kilograms of additional mass to be transported to the ISS. Built in France and Italy by Thales Alenia Space, the Cygnus XL flying on this mission is named in honor of naval aviator and astronaut William Willie C. McCool. Yesterday, Monday, September 14th, China Aerospace and Science Corporation launched a Long March 2C YZ-1S rocket from the Jiuquan Launch Center, China at 1906 Mountain Standard Time. The payload was SatNet, Internet of Things, or IoT, test satellites headed to a low Earth orbit communications constellation. Upcoming launches next week, 7 launches on the docket so far for this coming week. 5 SpaceX, 1 Rocket Lab suborbital, and 1 Blue Origin suborbital. Looks like I got to change that up there. Just a second. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net, continuing upcoming launches. Okay, we did that. Tomorrow, Wednesday, September 17th at 0941 Mountain Daylight Time, SpaceX is launching. We're planning to launch Starlink Group 17-12 from SLC-4E from Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Thursday, September 18th at 0330 Mountain Daylight Time, SpaceX intends to launch Starlink Group 10-61 from SLC-40 Cape Canaveral. Later that same Thursday morning at 0700 Mountain Daylight Time, Blue Origin will try again to launch the NS-35 mission of an uncrewed New Shepard suborbital rocket. More than 40 scientific research payloads will pop into space and back in the 10-minute hop. The mission scrubbed 3 weeks ago. Sunday, September 21st, SpaceX is scheduled to launch Starlink Group 10-27 on a Falcon 9 from SLC-40 Cape Canaveral, Florida. Later, Sunday, September 21st, SpaceX is logged to launch the NORL-48 mission on Falcon 9 from SLC-4E Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. This is the 11th batch of classified satellites for a reconnaissance constellation built by SpaceX and Northrop Grumman for the NRO. The launch should be the 120th Falcon 9 mission of 2025. Monday, September 22nd at 1745 Mountain Daylight Time, Rocket Lab has docketed to launch the Jenna mission on an Electron rocket departing LC-2 at the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. The planned trajectory is suborbital and it is a classified payload. And a week from today, Tuesday, September 23rd at 0523, SpaceX is scheduled to launch a Falcon 9 containing 3 scientific space probes to the Sun-Earth L1 Lagrange point. The 3 probes are NASA's Interstellar Mapping and Acceleration Probe, IMAP, NOAA's Space Weather Follow-on Lagrange 1, or SWFO-1 spacecraft, and NASA's Carruthers Geo-Corona Observatory from NASA. All 3 are headed to the Sun-Earth Lagrange L1 point, and we talked about that in that previous bulletin there. And space news, we got Starship update. SpaceX is working hard towards the launch of Test Flight 11. Most experts are looking toward an early October launch now. Booster 15 will be paired with Ship 38. Booster 15 completed a successful static fire a week before last, and Ship 38 completed a cryogenic proof test. This week, the OLM static fire launch adapter was installed on the launch pad, so Ship 38 testing can begin soon. ISAR Aerospace prepares for a second Spectrum launch. From Paris, a loss of attitude control and an open valve contributed to the loss of ISAR Aerospace's first Spectrum launch in March as the company gears up for a second flight. In a September 15 briefing held in conjunction with World Space Business News Week, company executives discussed the outcome of the investigations in the March 30 launch of Spectrum from the Andøya spaceport in northern Norway. The vehicle activated its flight termination system about a half a minute after liftoff, shutting down its engines and plummeting into waters just offshore of the pad. The primary issue with the rocket was a loss of attitude control. Alexander Daliano, Vice President of the Mission and Launch Operations at ISAR, said that the company had not properly characterized bending modes of the vehicle at liftoff. Controllability has to be tuned in order to counter such behavior, he said. That environment was not fully modeled and incorporated into the vehicle's control system. We were outside the environment as we expected, so that the controllability does not succeed. That loss of attitude control caused the vehicle to go outside the safety zone at the launch site. That in turn triggered the flight termination system on the rocket. He said the company has revised its model of vehicle modes at liftoff to correct the problem. A second unrelated issue was a vent valve in the rocket that was unintentionally opened before liftoff, allowing cryogenic vapors to escape. That would have caused problems later in the launch if the flight had continued. Delano said ISAR is fixing that problem by having flight software rather than ground software close the valve. Despite the failure to get to orbit, Delano considers the first Spectrum launch a successful test flight. This flight test for Spectrum was a fully successful story for the company, he said, exercising vehicle systems and demonstrating the professionalism of the team. The company is working toward a second flight of Spectrum. The first flight of that vehicle is at Andoya for pre-launch tests, while the second stage completes assembly at ISAR's factory in Germany. ISAR is also working with Norwegian regulators for a license for the second launch. That launch will take place as soon as possible, Delano said. He did not give a specific target launch date, but officials indicated that they were hoping to launch near the end of this year or early next year. The goal of the second launch will be to get to orbit, he said, qualifying the vehicle for operations. The launch will carry several CubeSats as part of a European Space Agency's BOOST program. The company has long-term plans to produce 30 to 40 vehicles a year. The Andoya launch site has a cap of 15 launches a year. But ISAR also plans to use a shared launch pad at the European spaceport at Kourou, French Guiana, that will be able to accommodate up to 20 launches annually among several companies. ISAR is one of several European launch startups competing to be the first to successfully reach orbit. I think it's important that we can get to the cadence that the market needs and that we do it reliably, Gillian said when asked if it was a goal for the company to be first. We are in the front right now anyway. And that's it for tonight's Rocket Report. W6RDZ Rocketman Ed wishes you a good night and nominal flight. Now back to Starman Burness, KI0AR, net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Okay. Yep, thanks, Mary, if you're still over there on YouTube. This is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. That's it for the Rocket Report. I'll go ahead and pause here to see if there are any more check-ins before we go down the list. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice. Okay, let me make sure I got heard correctly. I got a kilowatt 0 Golf Lima. Was that a Romeo or an India for the last letter? I got Kilo 0 Golf Lima. If you could give me the last letter of your call sign, I'll get you on the list, sir. Go ahead. All right, Mark. Much better on the second transmission. Got solid copy. Kilo Zero GLR. Welcome to the Colorado Astronomy Net. That's a new call on the list. So appreciate you checking in tonight. My name is Bernice. That's Bravo Uniform Romeo November Echo Sierra Sierra. And the call sign Kilowatt India Zero Alpha Romeo. Thanks for checking in tonight. Always like to touch base with my first time check-ins, find out what's your interest background in astronomy, whether you're just starting out or you've been doing it for decades or somewhere in between. Mark, tell us a little bit about your background interest in astronomy. Go ahead. All right, Mark, solid copy from down in the canyon there. No worries. And I do appreciate you listening in before. I definitely appreciate you checking in tonight. So as you well know, if you've been listening long enough, your check-in does count. That goes for everybody. Your check-in does count. I tally up these numbers and send them off to JPL. They actually send in the numbers to NASA, and they get funding from NASA for my little part of working with JPL as a solar system ambassador. So here in Colorado, and this is part of what I get to do. I'm much better presenting over the radio than in public, so this is what I do, and I do appreciate everybody checking in for sure. All right, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Now's the time for everyone else to contribute to the net. Questions, comments, observation reports, anything you'd like to pass along to the net, now's the time to do it. Moya was the first on the list. He had to check out, so we'll go down to Ken. NV7SS out in Nevada. Good evening to you, Ken. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Yes, the only things that are that'll move, well, all the stars are moving a little bit, but yes, Orion will appear in the sky at the same time. It'll be in the same spot next year around that time as well. So the same goes for all of the other constellations. For the most part, annually they're going to be in the same spot. They progress through the sky. Each month they move about 2 hours ahead of where they were the previous month. So there you go. 2 times 12 equals 24. So do that, and they'll be right back where they started from. So for the constellations and the stars, however, keep an eye on those planets. They like to move. So there you go, Ken. Yes, the answer to that was the long answer to your question. The short answer is yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Bernard. Appreciate that. I'm just curious about that. Thank you, Bernard. Great match. 7 minutes out.
Yeah, in fact, most of those constellations, most if not all of them, have been right in the same general spot for thousands of years. It's the precession of the planet itself that kind of wobbles. There are precesses so that the North Star is actually in a different place every 7,000 years. Um, there's like 28,000 years to precess one wobble. So every 7,000 years or so, we're looking at north, east, south, west, and back to north again. It's kind of a little wobble there for the different stars that become the North Star. So that's going to change, but the constellations themselves, the stars are moving, but it is so imperceptible to the human eye that we really don't see it, especially during one particular human lifetime, for sure. There, so I mean, you go back in the ancient history and look at the Egyptians. Based their location of the pyramids on Orion's belt. So things like that. Throughout history, the ancients loved looking at the stars and based a lot of their lore on what was up in the night skies, and that hasn't changed much in quite some time.
Okay, thank you, Bernard. 7 minutes out.
All right, Ken, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Definitely appreciate your question there as well. So thanks for that. Let's see. Rip in West Virginia, K3XO, checked in and out. So we'll go down to Dave up in Evergreen. AF0AS. Good evening to you, Dave. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Just a quick Starbase update. Nominally in 4 hours, SpaceX has a road closure scheduled for midnight to 4 a.m. Central Time, which could be the delivery of Starship to the launch pad for static fire. They have another road closure tomorrow night at midnight for a test tank to go to mapping for testing. Also, we just dropped, like half an hour into the net, 2 beach closures for 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Thursday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Friday. Beach closure probably means static fire for the ship. So that could be happening as soon as before this weekend. If that actually takes place, then high chance the ship would go back to production on the weekend, setting up for the removal of the Starship adapter launch pad and presumably preparing for a stack in a week or a week and a half. Things are moving rapidly. I know I've heard rumors from people I know at Starbase that their internal pages before the end of September for the launch of Flight 11. And that's all that's happening at Starbase this week. Stay tuned for further developments. AM through AS, back to the news.
All right, Dave, thanks for that update. Do appreciate it. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight as well. Mike, over on YouTube, KO5AOK, I just posted a question to you. Hopefully you're still there. If you've got anything for the net, you can post it over there in the YouTube chat. That goes for anybody that's still over on YouTube. If you've got any questions, observation reports, anything you'd like to pass along to the net, just post it over there in the YouTube chat, and I'll pass it along to the rest of the crew. Next on the list is Ed, W6RDZ. He's out there mobile somewhere, down in the Springs, he said. Good evening to you, Ed. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening, and good evening to the net. Great delivery on the rocket report tonight. Like one of the articles I was able to catch. Those were two good articles. That's all I've got for you. Everybody have a good evening and keep looking up. Just click
All right, Ed. Yeah, I do appreciate you providing us with the rocket report every week. I do appreciate that. That's a lot of work as well for the net. So I do appreciate you supplying that for us. Appreciate your comments. I appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is David out in Ohio, WE8M. Good evening to you, David. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
tell you what, this sea star is the sea star scope. This S50 is absolutely amazing me at every turn. On kind of a whim, I decided to see if I could spot Pluto last night, and wouldn't you know, I got a good image of it. It was actually brighter than some of the stars around it. In a couple of days or so, I'm going to be imaging the same part of the sky again to verify that it actually moved and confirm that it's actually Pluto and it's moving. So anyway, that thing is amazing. On the other front, I just ordered a Celestron C8 HD OTA for my CPM mount. I'm devoting my 10-inch Newtonian to, I'm not sure if I call it a demotion, but I'm going to be building a Thomsonian mount for it. So those are my projects going on forward for the time being. KI0AR is the net. WE8M.
All right, David, that is really cool that you got an image of Pluto. And yes, definitely take another shot of it and see that it moves. I think that's kind of how they did it in the first place. They found something where it ought to be and then checked, several days later, several months later, and seeing that, yeah, this thing moved for the, there you go. Planet Hunter extraordinaire. So David, I do appreciate you sharing that with us. And good luck with all the new toys that you're getting, and you're for sure. And thanks for sharing that. Love to see the images if you've got them. And I can share them with the net as well. So definitely love to see any imaging that you get with that, with your system there. Appreciate your sharing that with us. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Graham, MM1DEA, is well past his bedtime. Checked in and out as well. Tony, if you are still over on YouTube, if you've got any questions for the net, same with you. Anything you'd like to pass along? That's a new call or a new name on the list, I do believe, so thanks for that. But if you've got any anything that you'd like to pass along or any questions, comments, just post them in the YouTube chat and I'll pass that along as well, so thanks for that. Next on the list is Ian down in Oklahoma. KJ5JOD. Good evening to you, Ian. Again, welcome to the net. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead. Okay, Ian did say he might not be able to hang around, but definitely appreciate the new check-ins. Let's see, Mary, VE3AOA over on YouTube had to check out, so appreciate those check-ins as well. Next on the list is David up in South Dakota, N3NTV. Good evening to David. You're on YouTube as well, so if you've got any questions or anything like that, post them over there. Or if you can get on the radio, go ahead. Okay, Mike Coletta, KO5AOK, posted over on YouTube. Monday and Tuesday evening, International Space Station orbital passes over Oklahoma provided good reception of the amateur radio repeater on the ISS, even though I couldn't see them. All right, Mike, thanks for that. Yeah, definitely. Appreciate that. And hopefully you'll maybe see and hear as well. What was that frequency? 437.800 is, you can hear them on that particular frequency on their downlink. Check that out. They also have every now and then slow scan TV transmissions from the ISS. If you have any kind of capabilities, there are some freebie applications that I actually have on my cell phone and my iPad to receive those slow scan TV. Actually, they'll send it to slow scan TV images. Definitely neat. They'll actually send you a nice little 8.5 by 11 acknowledgement that you received the transmission as well. So that's all you need to do is actually receive the transmission from the ISS and you get a nice certificate. All right, Mike, thanks for that. Appreciate you checking in tonight and appreciate that comment there. Let's see. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Mark. What did you say? Well, it says Longmont on here, but you're up in a canyon. K0GLR. Good evening to you, Mark. What have you got? Again, welcome to the net. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. All right, Mark. Yeah, appreciate the comments and appreciate you checking in again. And definitely welcome to the net. Yeah, you were mostly solid copy. There was a few breakups, a little bit scratchy, but you were still almost solid copy. But we caught most of it. But I definitely appreciate you checking in and getting out of the hole, so to speak. For sure. It is working, so you can definitely get into the SkyHub system. So thanks for that. All right, this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. We are at the bottom of the list, so a lot of people had to check in and out. Disappeared for this evening. I'm going to go ahead and open up the net. Anybody else? Questions, comments, late check-ins? That goes for the YouTubers as well. Out there, or anybody. I don't know. I don't think I have anybody sending an email tonight. I'll go ahead and check that. Nope, nobody over there. I did have one subscription to the YouTube channel, so thanks for that. All right, anybody else? Questions, comments, late check-ins before I go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening? Please call KI0AR now.
Victor Echo 3, Papa Sierra Echo. Victor Echo 3, Papa Sierra Echo.
Okay, good evening to you, Stan, up in Ontario. VE3PSE, what have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Oh, hi, good evening, Bernard. Oh, I'm glad I got in. Victor Echo 3, Papa Sierra Echo here in Sudbury, about north of Toronto, Canada. Yeah, we've been getting some really clear nights up here, so it's been really, really nice. Oh, I like the article on the moon. I never thought of that with polarized glasses, because often that's true. You know, your eyes are really, it's just, there's so much glare when you're looking at the moon, especially at night. So I'm gonna have to try that for sure. I was just at our astronomy club presentation tonight. We actually have, believe it or not, we actually have a real planetarium up here at Sudbury, and it has the original projector, which was put in the 60s, I guess, and it was a memorial actually to the astronomer that passed away recently. It was just incredible presentation, and I remember I was there when I was a cub. I can remember the guy actually did that presentation for us, and we had our scout troops and cubs that we were all there watching at the planetarium. That was really instrumental in getting a lot of us interested in astronomy. But you know, that was amazing that he's able to keep it. Basically, what he does, I'm just going to recycle here. Like when he got us to come up there to see the show, he really does an outreach show with that with the planetarium projector. He has like kids coming from schools, and they have bus trips up there and invite all these people up. And actually, I think they had a small fee, I guess, just to cover his expenses. But he would bring them up there, and his idea was to get these kids up to the university, get them interested in astronomy, and get them, you know, exposed to science, and you know, thinking about other things like the sun and the planets and things like that. So it was really, really nice tribute to him tonight, and he was silent key as well. But what's kind of interesting is he was telling me the story one time how he got hired, and he was communicating through Morse code, CW, on you know, with the director who was the ham radio operator, and he got his job offer over the radio via CW Morse code. So I don't know if that happens very often. It's kind of a neat story. But anyways, inspirational, and we're so lucky to have the planetarium. University of Toronto, they
Victor Echo 3 Papa Sierra Echo. Thanks very much for running the net service. Always enjoyable and inspirational. Much appreciated. 73 on frequency. This is Victor Echo 3 Papa Sierra Echo. Passing it back to you, sir. Back to net control.
All right, Stan, thanks for sharing that with us. Appreciate you checking your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Yeah, that bottle cap thing is just another version of pinhole projection. Yeah, definitely don't recommend that for looking at the sun, but I'll have to try that looking at the moon with that bottle cap idea, because that's something that you can easily hold up to your eye as opposed to a pinhole and a sheet of paper or something like that. But yeah, another trick to look at the moon for sure. I'll have to wait a little bit longer, or I'll have to get up earlier, or try it if the skies are clear tomorrow as well. So, Stan, appreciate the comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. All right. Anybody else? Questions, comments, late check-ins before I go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening? Please call KI0AR now. Okay, nothing heard. I'm going to go ahead. I'm not seeing anything over on YouTube either, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the net for this evening. I'd like to thank the 14 check-ins for checking in tonight. There may have been a few more people lurking over on YouTube, but I don't see that. For checking in tonight, hopefully we'll hear from everybody next Tuesday night for another session of the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'd like to thank the Rocky Mountain Radio League for the use of their repeater systems. Yeah, we're operating on their system tonight on the analog side. I'd like to thank the SkyHub Link group, skyhublink.com, for, you can check that out for all the ways that you can get into SkyHub Link as well, and that's people from all over globally check in that way, so I do appreciate being able to do that. So thanks for that. With that, I will say 73 and keep looking up. This is KI0AR. I'm clear.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank Burness, KI0AR, for taking all the time that he does to do this net. And always enjoy listening to him, and keep up the good work there, Burnett. I'll always be listening to you. NB7S73, Burnett.
All right, Ken. Yeah, I do appreciate that a lot. I really do. Thanks for that. NV7SS. This is KI0AR 73 to you.